Hello everyone. I hope so. You all doing good. So today I'm discussing one of the important topic, the difference between alkali and bases. So in our today lecture, I try to clear all the concepts related like alkali and bases. So I hope so. The end of the session, everyone like fully understand about alkali and bases. They both are bases. Remember the point, like they both are bases. Alkali also bases, but some of the properties are different when you compare like means with other bases. Some of the properties are different, but both are bases. Alkali also bases. Look, for example, here mentioned clearly bases. Everyone like well know their pH like means a value greater than 7. Acid like means a pH value like lower than 7. Bases their pH value like means a greater than 7, and it is varies like for the different bases their pH value like means a different. So bases, there are two type of bases. The two type of bases include soluble bases and insoluble bases. About soluble and insoluble, like this is very basic. I hope so you all know well. Soluble like means when something like means a dissolve. Something mean like I mean solute, when solute dissolve in a particular solvent, where like means a solution form. And insoluble like means when they do not have ability to dissolve in a particular solvent. So this is called to be insoluble. So solubility rule like means like dissolve in like dissolve in like mean polar solute dissolve in polar solvent. Non-polar solute dissolve in a non-polar solvent. Just take an example. For example, like means about the soluble and insoluble. Just take an example. For example, like means uh, we have a beaker. Inside a beaker like means for example we have a given volume of water. We have a beaker. Inside a beaker we have a given volume of water. For example, uh, look, here is a beaker. In this beaker like means for example we have a given volume of water. So when we add a given like means a solute, for example like means if we add like means a salt, if we add like means the salt, like means let's suppose these are represented like means the salt particles. Look, for example, when we add salt, so then what happened like means then like means when we add salt and then we shake our stir, then like we get like means a solution. Salt, and when we add like means the salt into water, so then resultant like means what form, like means a solution of like means a salt. So the salt able to dissolve like means into water, because salt is polar. The water is also like means a polar. Both are polar, so salt have ability to dissolve in water. Insoluble, for example, just take an example. For example, like we have like means a beaker. Inside a beaker like means for example like a given volume of water are present. So when we add like means for example when we add, just an example, when we add like means for example a small pieces of like means a stone into water, or for example when we add sand into water like means then look at this different layer like means the form when we add. So the sand like not have ability to dissolve in water, so we can say like means the sand is insoluble. The sand is insoluble. For example, these are represented like means the sand particles. So sand, so the sand like mean to say insoluble. We not get like means any solution when we add like means the sand into water. So this is called like means the soluble and insoluble. And for example, there is also number of like means other like means solute and solvent. Got it? And mostly like means the organic like means actually like means the organic solute dissolved into organic solvent, and the inorganic like means a solute dissolved into inorganic like means a solvent. Or in a simple like we need to remember like the role like dissolve in like mean to say polar solute dissolve in a polar solvent and non-polar solute dissolve in a non-polar solvent. So bases, there are two type of bases. They are called to be soluble and insoluble. So the soluble basis is called to be alkali. Remember the point. Soluble bases are called to be alkalis, and insoluble, like means these are also the type of bases. They're not able to like means soluble in water. When we ate like means in water, we do not get any like means a kind of solution. But in case of like alkalis, when we ate like into water, so then we get solution. Look, for example, just an example, like means we have sodium hydroxide. When we ate like means the sodium hydroxide into water, they form alkaline solution. They form alkaline solution when we ate like means the sodium hydroxide. In other case, look, for example, we have like means a calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is a base, but not an alkali, because calcium oxide, like mean to say, not have ability to dissolve in water. So alkalis are all those bases they have able to dissolve in water. So simply like means say all alkali are bases, but not all bases are alkali, because not all bases like means to dissolve into water, but like all the alkalis are bases, because all alkali like means their pH greater than 7. So when we add, like for example, the sodium hydroxide solution, the alkaline into water, they form look hydroxide ion. They form hydroxide ion in solution. So for example, sodium hydroxide, when we make an aqueous solution, they form sodium ion plus the hydroxide ion in solution. Here some of the main points like means I mentioned about bases and also uh, alkalis. Look, bases are substance that can accept like proton, hydrogen ion or donated hydroxide ion in a chemical reaction. When we react like means with acid, so then like the bases donate like hydroxide ion, and also they accept like means a proton from other substances or from acid. And other properties of bases, look, they are commonly defined substance that have, as I already like means to discuss, they have greater than 7, their pH value. Example of bases include, there are number of examples. So sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, ammonia, many other, for example, calcium oxide, magnesium hydroxide, many other examples. So alkalis are specifically refer to soluble bases that produce hydroxide ion when dissolved into water. As in the above example, look, here I represent like mean to say when we ate like the alkalis into water, they form hydroxide ion. So alkalis are soluble bases. They are subset of bases and are typically strong bases that fully dissociate into water, release hydroxide ion. Remember the point. They are subset of bases and are typically strong bases. And also the bases further like means a type. Some of the bases are strong bases. Some of the bases are weak bases. So strong bases actually like these are those type of bases that are completely dissociate. When we make an aqueous solution, so then they completely dissociate. And weak bases, they actually partially dissociate when we make an aqueous solution. So alkaline actually is strong bases. Alkaline are strong bases. When we add into, when we make an aqueous solution, so then they actually completely dissociate and form hydroxide ion. Alkalis are often associated with alkali metals, look, such as sodium, potassium. Alkali metal, I hope so everyone know, like means alkali metal, like means the metal in our periodic table, like means the group first member. All the member of group first called to be alkali metals. So mostly look, alkali often associate with alkali metal such as sodium, potassium, which form highly soluble hydroxide like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, cesium hydroxide, francium hydroxide, or lithium hydroxide. So this is all about like mean to say the difference, like means say bases and alkalis. Like means the other bases are, or we can say like the soluble and insoluble bases. So I hope so. No, it is clear about like means the basis and alkalis.